Yours.
Do you like to start with prayer?
No.
It got so quiet, like it doesn't need to be that quiet. But...
Everybody's got different dates.
No, we don't.
Everyone's got what?
You have different dates.
I don't.
April 23rd and 24th. And then we have, do you have the date for the, do you have the date for the party, birthday party and the date for the skydiving?
Skydivers.
Date for the birthday party, that's
To check with, yeah.
first, isn't it?
Do you know when the skydiving is?
Well, thank you, everyone. Is there any, well, thanks for coming tonight. Is there anyone here tonight for the first time by raise of hands? We start over here. What's your name? How did you hear about us?
My name's Tom, and just this group I'm with. That's the first time I've heard of you guys.
Cool. Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
How about you?
I'm Brett, and yeah,
Awesome. Welcome.
I'm Sid, and I'm with the group.
Well, welcome.
Dory, also with the group.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're with the recovery center in Westfield, so. We're fun and ditto with the group.
Welcome.
I've been here before.
All right. Anybody else?
We forgot my first stuff.
I'm sorry. This last weekend, we had No One Left Behind, which is a team race that we kind of put on. It was a 10K, where all of our teams had to run together. It wasn't a relay race where you go out and you run 1 mile and another teammate runs another mile. No, it was a chance for us to go out and run as a team and run the whole distance together, cheering each other on, being there when times started getting tough, and also being there when everything went well. And we were able to see each other finish and help each other accomplish new goals. A lot of people that day were able to reach new milestones in their life and in their running. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit. No, they were able to reach new goals that day. It was kind of cool to be out there. I did not compete on a race or compete on a team. I was out there riding a bicycle, videotaping everyone, seeing everybody out there. I mean, it was kind of cool because different times throughout the run, I noticed some teammates getting a little bit out there farther away from each other. Then all of a sudden they kind of stop and they wait for their other teammates next to catch up to them. And each one of the teams out there made sure they were able to finish together. Some teams, of course, finished faster than others, and other teams, they were getting the most out of their money. They were out there, they were enjoying it. And they were walking, they were talking, they were laughing, they were having a great time. And then be able to see everybody finish, I mean, it was awesome. It was honestly one of the favorite races that I've actually ever been to. Our next race that we have coming up is the Break Cycle Relay, which is April 23rd and 24th. Where each leg is 5 miles, so you go out, you get around 5 miles of it by yourself or with another teammate. It starts in Lehigh and wraps up all the way around Utah Lake, goes up into Draper and wraps back down. And it was awesome. It was honestly one of the favorite races. 35 miles long, unless I decide to make the course longer, which that hasn't happened in the past.
Sadistic.
Just being honest. People will be able to sign up for their legs on that here shortly. I encourage everybody to go out, sign up, get a leg, come out, hang out, and enjoy some time outdoors since we've all been quarantined for the last year. May 1st is our Catholics' 10th birthday party. And we will be turning 10 years old. So a group of us will be running the Pro City Half Marathon on that day. Then afterwards, we will be meeting at, I think we are aiming to go to Highland Glen Park for our birthday party. Okay, so we'd like to invite everybody to come out for that. Did we ever get a definite date for the skydiving?
I just texted James. I haven't heard yet. I think the 8th or the 15th, but
That's
hopefully he'll
to be
reply
announced.
back.
We will post about that later on.
If anyone wants to go skydiving.
Chelsea, did you have an announcement?
Yeah, we're trying to do like, so there's a lot of people who either don't have jerseys or I have a lot of Addict Athlete clothes I don't wear. So we're like a swag swap, maybe a swag swap along with other athletic wear. I'm hoping to maybe figure it out by next, or what, April 13th, meeting that night, so maybe just do it here. Yeah, so if anybody wants to do that.
We've got shoes from Ultra and a bunch of
Yeah.
other stuff.
So
too,
in 2 weeks, if you want to come bring stuff that
Well, you create a post about it on.
you've grown out of, or we have kids stuff. that
A
they've
lot of
grown
kid
out of.
jerseys, so.
And then, or we have some awesome people in this group that keep losing weight and now they don't fit in their stuff, so maybe they want.
Sure it keeps on.
Some people can't part with their stuff.
Yeah, and then some people, but it would be fun, help some new people that don't have it or can't afford
Bring
it,
some
so.
stuff. Also, Rob's fireworks show that we are doing around July 4th. We are still collecting donations for that, if anybody'd like to donate to it. And if you'd like to buy a pink lanyard that we have back there, an Addict Athlete lanyard, and a bag of freeze-dried Skittles, it is $10. All the money raised from that is going towards our fireworks show also. It is one of the best fireworks shows that you will actually see.
Yes.
It lasts sometimes, well, depending on how much fun he's having with the torch, it can last anywhere between a half hour and 2 hours long. It's
And
just a
with how
great
much
time.
money we raise.
Yeah, and how much
It
money.
can go
we
all
raise.
night if we get some more
So if anybody would
donations.
like to donate to that or get a lanyard and freeze-dried Skittles, Ginger will have them. If you'd like to pay Marissa over there. And I do believe Holly is teaching tonight, so if you'd like to come on up here.
So when I signed up to teach, I didn't expect so many people. When I saw the van pull in, I was like,
Lucky.
are they coming?
They knew you were.
They knew you were
They
talking.
knew. So like Jed said, I'm Holly. I'm a team captain. I do a lot with the women's group. So if you're interested in the women's group, you can come talk to me after and I can get you joined on that group. I also do a lot with running clinic. So running clinic will be this Saturday. We'll be at the Lakeside Sports Park in Orem. And I will let you know what time as soon as I know what time. So, but just watch the Facebook page and I'll post about it. We take all levels. We have a group that walks. We have a group that runs. If you're interested in learning to run. And a crawling group. And if you're interested in learning how to run, there's a lot of people that come that would be happy to help you start that. So I am what you would call a muggle. So I have not struggled with addiction to substances, but my dad and my brother and my mother have all struggled. My dad has just made 3 years sober, and my brother, I think, is almost 2 years. And so being on this team has actually helped me a lot. And if you want to hear more, I'm just going to do a shameless plug for my podcast.
It's
So I did a podcast in January. So if you want to hear more about me, you can go and listen to that podcast. So Jed kind of stole like the first part of my meeting. So if it's short, it's his fault. No, just
Hey,
kidding.
you can go ahead and talk about No One Left Behind. I'm just giving my little 2 cents
Well,
about
I have on my chart that I was gonna talk about what it was, but you did that.
it. I'm sure your words are a lot better than mine.
Well, I was joking because I used to teach 5th grade and I was like, what's more intimidating? 32 10-year-olds or everybody out here and online. And so I still haven't decided, but if this starts to go down, I'm gonna use the whiteboard and teach 5th grade math. Jen said if I started doing that, you'd say I had to leave. But he's kind of talked about no one left behind, and so I'm teaching tonight, or having a discussion tonight about team unity. And so, like he explained, we came together in our groups and we had to run a 10K in our group and stay with our group. I got my money's worth, as Jed said. I was in the group that walked. There was several of us, and going back to team unity, it was unique for me because this last year is the first year I've ever really started running. I ran my first 5K ever last year, and so for me to be walking was something that was a little bit difficult, but I have medical limitations. I'm pregnant. I'm not supposed to be running because of some medical things I have. And so, but I wanted to participate. So I came with my group of walkers. And by the way, they were awesome. So if you want to come to running clinic, they'll be there to walk. But it was actually really nice to slow down and just be with the people on my team and listen to what they had to say and get to know them and just learn about their struggles and their strengths. And we talked about how there was one point where Tira, she was walking with us, and I was like, when everybody else comes the other way to pass us, let's just turn around and follow them, right? We
Wanted
were the
to
last group.
cheat.
I was like, well, then Tira, and I was joking, of course, but Tira's like, well, what's our goal? What's our goal for this race? How far are we supposed to be going even? And she's like, how far is 20 feet? Like, are we supposed to be like 20 feet within each other? And she's like, how far is the 10K? And I was like, well, about 6 miles. And she's like, well, where are we at? And I was like, 1.5 miles. She's like, well, our goal is 6 miles, so we're gonna go our 6 miles. And Krista can vouch for this, right? She was there, she knows, she was with us. But the thing that really stood out to me is even though we were the last group in, and Jed came and checked on us at the end, and Earl came back to walk with us, I was kind of expecting, we had been out for like 2 hours, I was kind of expecting the people that had finished would have just gone home. But they didn't. And we came and the team was there and they were cheering, and it was just really cool that the whole team stayed, even for us people that were really slow. And that's something that I thought was amazing and for my experience. But I also wanted to see if anybody else that was there would like to share their experience, what they learned, what they liked from their experience. I see, I'm gonna call on people, I know who was there.
No, I enjoyed it. We actually only had a two-man team, or the barely under 300 team.
We can't have them on the camera.
But we stuck together really well, and I thought it was interesting because there's been times where Kenny and I have run together, and I feel like quitting or slowing down or walking, and he pushes me beyond what I think my limits are. You know, and I think I've done the same for him. And it's amazing what you can do when you just put more than yourself into it. You know, if you remember, I'm out here with someone else, and I can't make all the decisions on my own, and you work together. It's amazing what you can accomplish. So I thought it was a good opportunity to learn about someone I've grown closer to and learn their, you know, my limitations, his limitations, both of our strengths, and you just learn from each other and push each other.
Yeah, I think it's just like
when you're running by yourself, it's all just you in your head and I find I talk myself into giving up way too early. But when you're doing it with somebody else, you're out there together. And if you can push, I can push a little harder, and it makes you better than you are by yourself, for sure, when you have a team. So that's kind of what I got out of this.
Yes, go ahead.
Jed did a good job of marking the course at the very beginning. I did an even better job of leading everyone astray away from those markings. We still found it. For me, I had a unique opportunity to push a young lady, Emma, in the team point share. And the Hoyt story, the gentleman who pushes his son, has for decades, is that's been a huge inspiration for me as a runner. And so when that chair came out of his truck and his daughter put his daughter in there, I just jumped all over the chance to push her, because that was huge for me. And she did have a good time. Went through one of the tunnels and she hollered "we," having fun. But that was what was unique. Plus, also I got to know some people that got to hear some of their struggles, which are totally different than mine, and yet we're all there together. And it was just nice to see everybody coming and going. And I like what Coach Lou says, is that not everyone in here supposedly has an addiction, and yet we don't appear that we have an addiction, right? And that's what we got to see on the Murdoch Canal as well. Just people jogging like anyone else. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So what I got out of it is, Tira and Holly were on my team, as well as, I don't remember her name. Leah, little girl, was an adventurer. She's quite the chattering fox.
She has so much energy.
She pushes you. 6 miles of nonstop chatter, while we're also trying to have, get to know each other on our team. But definitely a trial in patience in that part for me. I'm definitely get irritated quite quickly. But she connected with me before the start of the race because we were wearing the same shirt, the same purple Addict II Athlete shirt. And so she wanted to be on our team because we had the same shirt. And so I thought, the innocence of a child, just, we have the same thing, so I want to be on your team, and just came up and hugged me. And it's like, she knew me forever. So that was really cool. And then Tira, I have, not really known very well, see her on Facebook and posts and message hey once in a while, but never really got to know her story. And, we just had a good time talking. And I've never done a 10K, the most I've ever done is a 5K. And the first kind of half, I was like, oh, my feet already hurt, my ankles hurt, but we just got into talking in our conversation and cheering each other on, and you kind of forget about, the physical pain that you're going through and just take your mind off of it with other people. And the last half, I actually felt better than the first half because I wasn't really, by myself thinking about how much pain I was in, but just, being with my friends and my team was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for sharing. And I just thought it was such a cool event to happen. And then when I asked Jed, I was like, what should I be teaching? And he said team unity. And I think that was on his, I think he knew, right? So thanks for sharing your experiences. And I just wanted to do a shout out, even though the trail was marked really well, Jed. I just appreciate everybody that was helping with the race, like Liz and Ginger and Chelsea, and it was just amazing. Go ahead.
At the end, I have a video.
Oh,
I
yeah.
posted it, but no one's seen it yet. So.
Yes,
Just
there was a
barely.
video. I watched half of it before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should have time.
Okay.
So from there, I'm just gonna say, what does it take to be a team, and what is team unity? And as I was thinking about this, And I kept trying to think about what is a team to me? And really, I didn't participate in sports in high school. I had a team of teachers I worked with, but I was like, what should I say is part of a team? So I did what a lot of good people would do, and I Googled it. And I found this really interesting article. So there's two parts that make up team unity. And the first part is that the team cares about the same goal, the goal of the team. So if you're playing basketball, your goal is to get the most points and win, or like as a team of teachers, it's like my most relatable experience is doing your best to create the best outcome out of your students. So what is the goal of the team that you're working on together? And the other thing that stood out to me the most was to have team unity, the team members have to care about each other. You can care about your goal as much as you want, but if you don't care about who you're working with, then you can't come together to reach that common goal. So what is the goal of Addict Athlete? And I hope a lot of you know. What is it? I'm not gonna say what the playbook told me.
We have failed miserably, Holly, look. These guys in the front row, they get a pass, but everybody else?
Ginger.
Race addiction, no place within greater value.
Yeah, right? So that's one of the big goals we all have together as the team. And what do you think it takes for the team members to meet that goal? So we all on Addict to Athlete have the goal of erasing and replacing for things of greater value. But what do you need to do to help with that goal? And so I kind of wrote a small list. You need to show up. If you want to win the game, you have to be at the game, right? So you have to show up. You have to support. You have to be there for each other. What else? What else do you think you need to do to help meet the team's goal?
Respect each other.
Respect each other. You can just shout them out. You don't have to raise your hand.
Reach out when you need help.
Yeah, reach out when you need help.
You just listen, just be a listening ear if needed.
I think Jed has some comments.
Yeah, I know, I have some people to say.
Being open-minded and that of your teammates, being willing to show support and be able to go out on wild and crazy adventures with them.
Yeah. And then when we go, sorry, I was talking over you. I didn't hear you talking. So as a group, as an Addict Athlete, as a team, those are things that we can do to reach our goal. And then what can we do to support others on the team individually?
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways we can support each other on the team individually. What ideas do you have?
Teach someone how to crochet, even though they know they're gonna hate it, but then end up loving it.
In January, I went to Krista's house and she's like, I hate crocheting, but I'm gonna do this. And now she's like, look at this hat I made, and look at all these other things I've created. And she's like, can you help me find a pattern for this? And so, thanks, Krista. What else?
Being willing to go outside your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Sometimes you gotta do things that other people enjoy, you might not, which is similar to the crochet thing, and maybe you find it's something to enjoy. Like running, most people don't like running, but when you do it with someone, it changes it.
When you put your own goals aside, just to help volunteer, done that a lot over the years, just to help them get through.
Anything else?
I think reaching out, I know Jed's super good at doing that, just randomly. And I think people don't realize how important that is to know that somebody's looking out for you, even if you don't tell it.
Yeah, I think sometimes when we get in the routine of our day-to-day lives, we forget about the people around us. And so if we need support, we forget to ask, but sometimes we also forget to just reach out. And I think it was last week, it was Selena who posted on the page and just was asking for support, and she had people call her. And I've seen other times where people will ask for support and there'll just be comments that just go on forever on Facebook. And my one thought with this is, if you need support, that's what the teammates are here for. We care about each other. We don't come here only for ourselves, we come here to support each other. And if you see something online, if somebody's asking for help, you don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. You can reach out to them, and what you have to say might be something they need to hear. You don't have to think, well, for me, for example, at the beginning, I didn't know if I could relate because I didn't know what it was like to be in recovery myself. So when someone asked for help, it was like, well, somebody else knows a better answer than I do. But there's a good chance that I might have said something that person needed to hear. So also don't be afraid to reach out to people asking for help, because what you have to say might be something they need to hear, even if you don't think what you're gonna say is what they need.
Holly, a note on that is, you know, when somebody reaches out and you comment, it's not only helping that person who's reaching out, but all the other people who may be reading your comments could help them too. Maybe not in that specific instance, but a lot of times it relates to what you're going through in your life as well. And I mean, you may be going through the same thing they are, but you didn't say anything and you needed all of those comments for yourself as well.
Exactly.
You bring up a good point right there, because what a lot of people actually go through and do on like 53 pages is if you go into that, let's say Addict II Athlete Homebase, is you can go up, there's a little search tab on the very top. You can type a couple words in there and it'll bring up every post that's ever been on Addict II Athlete that has those couple little words in it, and people can go through and they can read something that was posted inside of Addict II Athlete 4 years ago. That thing that person wrote may be helping them. And I've done it in the past for myself before, just went back, and sometimes it's my own words that help me out the most. But, you know, it's always a great reminder.
It's true. You could type in any sub-topic, and I'm sure there's a post previously about it, for sure.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what Krista said, you know, somebody might not be confident in themselves enough, or are too worried about being a burden to ask the question themselves, but reading it through somebody else is really helpful. So those are great comments. And one of the last things I kind of want to touch on is that when you are part of the team and you're caring for your teammates, you also have to make sure that you're able to do those things. So you have to show up to the meetings, you know, support. We're here to support others in their sobriety. And so maintain your sobriety. If you're struggling, reach out. Raise the bar for yourself. Don't just be complacent with where you're at all the time. Be willing to step up. You know, like for me, when I first started, so I've been on the team actively for about a year, and Coach Blue was like, we're gonna start a running clinic. And this was in May. And I was like, Michelle, we gotta go to this running clinic. And she's like, I don't wanna go. And so I like nagged her about it, and she got to my house and I was like, we are gonna go to this running clinic. And she's like, no, we're not. So I drove her in her car to the running clinic. And from that point on, I was just like, I can do this. I think coach had us running like 30 seconds and then walking for, I can't remember, 2 minutes or something like that. And I was like, I can do this pace forever. And I was just perfectly comfortable and content doing that. And then each week, Michelle and I kept doing the homework and doing our running. And we got to the point where we were running 3 whole minutes. And I kept telling her, I was like, every time I've done this program, I quit at the 5-minute mark because I cannot run 5 minutes. I'm comfortable running up to 3. So I'm going to run up to 3 minutes and that's where I'm going to stop. And she told me, she's like, you have 1 week to decide that you're going to run 5 minutes. And she kept pushing me to raise the bar for myself. And by September, I ran my first 5K and I've never done that before. And so don't be afraid to make a challenge for yourself and step up, make a goal, reach it, set the bar higher, and keep going. And don't forget your self-worth and have self-respect as you move on and working as a team. Because to be there for your teammates and to meet the team goal, you have to feel good about yourself and have self-worth and self-respect. Does anybody have anything else to add on that?